start off big. I want to start off by talking about the movie I saw last night. I saw Black Panther with one of my beef fries in town here, Josh Harkis, and there was a lot of hype about Black Panther, the movie itself, a lot. And the reviews were like, "This is the greatest movie ever, superhero movie ever." This is the first masterpiece that Marvel has ever made. That's what I read that a few times, and I was like, wow. Jesus Christ. And then I looked at the numbers, the box office numbers on Thursday, and they were smashed. I mean, 25 million, which on a Thursday night is the second highest of all time. And then going into Friday, the movie was on pace for $225 million for the weekend. So I was like, fuck, I got to see this. And I made a comment about 6 or 7 months ago when Black Panther was started to get the engines going for with the trailer and the promotion and all that stuff. And I said, look, if you're a person of color who wants to see more black actors on screen, you've got to go opening weekend and support this movie. This is the first time ever that they've made an all-black superhero movie. Director, cast, writer. I mean, shit. Ryan Coogler even was credited with writing it, and I was like, God damn it. And I made a big deal of it, of like, hey, look, doing the Oscars So White campaign and that type of shit doesn't do shit. Doesn't do anything. What really does something is speaking with your wallet and saying, hey, when these films are made like this, I'm going to go out and support them. I'm going to buy the shit out of these tickets and get everybody to go and see them. That will really make a change in Hollywood, and it did. So to that point, I went to go see it myself so I could talk about it and see what a big deal it was, and why everybody else is saying this is one of the most important films ever made. And I gotta be honest with you, it was fucking incredible. I would say this is my favorite superhero movie that I've ever seen.
Wow.
Ever. And I'm not a superhero guy. You know, I fucking hate these movies. Yeah. I hate them with a passion. The only one that I kind of liked or got down on was Deadpool, because I like the writing. Yeah. I like the writing in Deadpool. I still don't like the fictional, and that's what comic books are and superhero movies are. And I know that, by the way. I don't want to sound like a fucking idiot by saying I don't like the big giant rock guy or whoever the silver guy was. Like, I just don't enjoy the cartoonish elements of it personally. Like when I see the Avengers and I see the giant Hulk come on screen, to me that takes me out of it, where it's just like, all right, it's just a fucking CGI animal. Where, like with Thor, for example, he's in, he's fighting people and he's the shit, and same with Captain America. But it's like, then you have, to me, like the Spider-Man that looks too fake, and they're shooting webs and all that other shit, and it's just like, right. Black Panther, to me, boy, it is really hard to understate how great this movie was. Fuck, man, it was the closest depiction I could come to was like it was almost like a black Star Wars.
Okay, that's kind of what it looked like.
Or Star Trek. Mm-hmm. It was its own separate world and universe, that it was like the planes and everything they were flying, and their modes of transportation was fucking cool. The only thing, when Black Panther himself got into the real world and had to do shit, obviously, there's real world elements to it, but it was real. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a fake city. Like, he went to Oakland. So when he was in Korea, like when he ventured out and did things, you were in the real world again. So it's not like Batman, where it was like, oh, we're in Gotham and we're in Gotham City, and there's, we've got these superheroes that are here and we're fighting in this fake world and all this other shit. The way that it was set up was, the country of Wakanda was a country itself in Africa, and then they ventured out into the real world and did the shit. But like, it also had elements of James Bond to me, where the suits and the gadgets that Black Panther had and the things that they were using, like they had a chick who was building all of this stuff for him, like to go out and fight crime and help the world and all of this shit. I thought the message was great. I thought the acting was fucking great. The writing was great, and the world itself that they had created, as far as like wardrobe, special effects, costumes, like all of it down to the makeup and the prosthetics, like was just lights out. Like they just got it right and knocked it out of the park. And I think for as big as this and important as this movie was, because if this bombs and it's shitty, they never make another black superhero movie again. I can promise you that.
Oh yeah.
That's
Same with
just
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's
Like
just
if
the
that
way.
was dumb, it'd be like, no, we
Just
can't.
the way Hollywood works. Has nothing to do with race, but you know, I think now the test will be internationally, because a lot of the overseas distributors always bitch that black movies don't travel and do well overseas. So the international numbers will be big next. But you know, look, you would have been lucky. You would have been like fine to make 100 million, let alone 225 opening weekend domestically. I mean, this completely changes the game all the way around. For black actors, black directors, and black films, getting out to the masses underneath a huge budget. Because you know, the director Ryan Coogler, look, this guy's fucking 3 for 3. I've seen all 3 of his movies. I was unaware that it was him, but he just keeps popping up. The first one was Fruitvale Station. We saw that together.
Liked it, yep.
It was great. Sundance movie, small budget.
Yep.
He did the best that he possibly could.
Yep.
With that budget, it was a great film. Second up was Creed. Saw Creed.
Yeah.
Great. Completely revitalized that franchise. They just wrapped production on the second one now. But, you know, he took a tired Rocky franchise, because the last one, 6 was okay. 5 and 6 were okay, but he revitalized it and made it gritty and cool again. And I still think Stallone should have won the Oscar for that.
Oh,
That was,
well, that's
you know, but again, that's Ryan Coogler. He did that. He reinvented that movie and that franchise and made it fucking awesome. Same with Black Panther. He directed this. I mean, that is a massive leap to go from directing Creed to Black Panther. I mean, the special effects in that world, like I would have to say off the top of my head, 85% of it was green screen or CGI. As far as the world around them, because the way they made Africa look, I mean, it was beautiful and everything, and it was just like, man, the way that entire world looked was incredible. And I can't even wrap my mind around directing something like that. Like, not in a million years. Like, if somebody called me to do something like that, I'd be like, I have no fucking idea how to do it. Let alone this guy who's 32 years old.
right.
This is his 3rd movie directing something like this. It is unbelievably impressive, especially when others have buckled under this pressure.
Right.
You had the guy that Joshua Trank or whatever, he bombed out on that Star Wars and lost his mind.
Oh, yeah.
No, Fantastic Four was before that, and then he was supposed to do the Star Wars. But Fantastic Four, he had a mental breakdown trying to direct that, which is, you know, superhero movie in the same element as this. This was bigger and better, like way better to me. And I think this movie is for black actors and black directors is, I'm going to go out on the limb, is probably one of the most important films ever made. And I say that meaning you take a movie like this that is done like not only 225 million in the box office, but you're putting black people as superheroes for the first time in a movie ever and making it successful and cool, and the acting was great and the cast was great. The reason why I think this is the most important versus a movie like 12 Years a Slave, for example, is I think everybody makes a slavery movie and you're trying to get an Oscar and trying to, you know, get
Oscar bait.
Yes. And for black directors and things like that, or writers. And I think to that point, white directors do it too with PTSD movies And,
yeah.
it's the same thing of like,
Yeah.
oh, we're trying to show we're a serious filmmaker and by making these movies. And it's like, look, man, I'm sure black people are tired of talking about slavery. And I'm sure white soldiers are tired of hearing about PTSD. Like, I think there's been a million of those stories.
Right.
And I just think the market was flooded. There was one, after 12 Years a Slave, there was one that came out right afterwards. It was in Sundance. I can picture the guy's name, and you know the film I'm talking about. But it bombed, and it didn't do well.
Yeah.
And they put it up in award season, and it was the same thing. And it was like, it was the third or fourth slave movie in a row.
It wasn't the Martin Luther King one?
No. And that's
another,
there was,
Selma or whatever?
Yes, Selma was another one, but like at the time, there was 3 or 4 Martin Luther King projects at the time as well. And it's like, this is something way out of the box all the way around, where it's just, the significance of this to me is going to have a bigger impact and last longer than somebody doing another movie about slavery.
Yeah. I hear you.
Or anything like that, because this is actually, sitting there watching it, like, to me, because of how great it was, I couldn't help but think of the impact of like little black kids, children watching this and finally being able to have a superhero that they can dress up as Halloween. That's one of their own. Like just something that small where you're like, all right. And the movie's so good and it's so fantastic. Like, I just think it really, really changes things.